Never thought I would. Not in my MWI bingo list, ladies and gentlemen. Coming in live from Riyadh. I hope y'all are doing safe. I hope y'all are having a great day or evening as we get into the very first matchup, very first game in this history-making tournament. Starting off in the orange here for Falcons Vega, while CFU Serendipity dipping into their purple, as you do with a Fanny.
Yeah, definitely as you do with the Vanny, and moving quickly over to orange buff. One of the things I'm a little excited for, this Carmilla pick in the roam position, it's like their only real stopper right now for the Fanny, so it's a lot on Thal's shoulders right now.
And it's a soft stopper too. Not to mention maybe, so at best they have like a 1.5, 2 stoppers, right? You have the Eternal Guard and you have the penalty zone. That's it. That's it. I wonder if Falcons Vega are kicking themselves for this now. In mid, Yui playing some footsies here with Thal. Again, I don't know if expected Funi to play today.
Yeah.
Funi and Mei Lane.
Definitely a toss-up. Don't know exactly what happened. This might have been the choice due to some scrim decisions. Who knows? Mirko said it. They must feel confident with this composition. So excited to see exactly how this plans out. But that Tagami pick right there definitely spices things up for game number 1. And this is what we talk about in group stage. These are the possible, strats that can get you that first game 1 win.
Yep, and the draft definitely worked out for Serendipity this time around. Yui taking a visit down to Yui Fendi. Something to talk about here as well. Chinchaw's not having a great time. It's very difficult now. Yui coming in deep.
Yui takes a little bit of damage. Should be okay there. You talked about Yui. You talked about Chincha. I think this Yui Ruby pick is going to be glorious against Mailing on this Roger. Really, I feel like Serendipity just drafted very cleanly in this game.
Yep, they do have their fundamentals down. Let's talk about XP lane.
Ooh, a lot of damage though. Mochi Bang gets banged out. First blood over to Mei Lane.
Looking for some retribution here. Abby putting some damage on the Mei Lane, but you can't beat the aggression the Falcons Vega bring to the table.
Yeah, great first blood, great pick. And CFU tried to do something in the gold lane, but Team Falcon Vega actually succeed in the XP lane. Now it's turtle time.
Here we go. Some footsies. 3v3 potentially. Orange worked on by Tagami first. I like the roper though without Falcons Vega pulled. You saw how they were visiting bottom. XP. Oh, check this out. Chincha. Oh, forcing out an ult from both sides, and then they pull a fast one. Like, wouldn't you have thought that it would come from the Fanny lineup? Shouldn't have been come from the Cambodian squad.
I mean, yeah. Right? Cambodians are a little crazy, man.
What is that?
They like to have some fun, man. They bring out the Fanny game 1, and it was the fact that it was pick number 5. It's great drafting from coach, man. Great drafting from coach for sure. But here comes turtle play. Nice stun onto Yui. They're all going to kind of hold down the front line here. The Carmilla should be able to get a stun done. Does have the ultimate ready. The blood pack able to do something here. Mei Lane just dancing around. Nothing too major. Keep our eyes on Tagami though. Look at the damage. The Eternal Guardian does come down on Abby. Nice stun up, but in comes Tagami. Looking for the turtle. Able to steal it, take it away. Can he get away though? A lot of damage onto UA. Mei Lane trying to get the finishing blow. Trying to get the final hit. Can he get the Lycan pounce? Finds the kill. Now Mei Lane locking on Mochi Bang as well. CFU on the run, loses 2 for the price of a turtle.
Mei Lane going ham this time around. 3 on the board already. About 2,000 gold ahead, I'd say, give or take. You expect these values to balloon up in the next few seconds. Again, Serendipity, clearly CFU won that draft. They got some sneaky picks through. But they just can't get through Falcon Vega's fundamentals. They're just so clean when it comes to these engages, and they know how to play the map against a lineup that, say what you will about that turtle take. They lost a fight now in bottom, Thal's in trouble.
Thal takes a little bit offended. You were able to land that I'm offended, but Thal flickers through, and there's your fundamentals right there, feeling comfortable. Even the call from Mei Lane earlier, I don't even want to take this turtle because I know I can get 2 kills. Leaves the turtle behind, goes for the kills. Tagami gets it, but it's a great trade for them.
The little intricacies of that flicker from Thal. They knew that there was no one in that river bush. They knew that there was no one coming from mid. So they made the call, all right, flicker over here, you're safe. I got you. Team Falcons Vega covering up the map really, really well. Now you're clearly ahead here in the early game. Again, now we're looking at 2,000. Yui Fendi gets a hit on her, forced out the ult.
Zaman's force does come down. Yui there to help out along with Abby, but now it's 4 members of Falcon. Vega and a big Guardian lands right on Yui, and comes Tagami trying to get some damage off. Where's the cut throw? Can he land it? No, doesn't connect. Everyone able to dodge through, even Melee with a beautiful Lycan pounce, but more damage coming on to Melee. Tagami finally finds one. Can make it 2. A lot of damage on Tagami. Tagami has to run away, but still gets the double kill from that burn.
She got it down. She was trying. All this while, she was trying. And it took maybe 2 or 3 big engages. Here's the STC replay one more time. Again, the Eternal Guard came through, and now maybe we're seeing remnants of that initial dilemma. Oh, wait, what's going on? Nice push. All right, great conversion. Now we're seeing the dilemma coming through now. Where's the hold? If Tagami can keep doing this, then Team Falcons Vega have something to think about now. Melee wailing away.
Yeah, Violet getting some nice damage on him. Moshi Bang's frag armor. Melee able to get the turtle this time. Tagami hightails it out. Last insanity defensively just to try to get away. CFU backs off.
All right, clean. CFU Serendipity. I think it's key for these ladies now to pick their fights. They can play where they're mobile, they can play where they're everywhere. Oh no, Abby!
A lot of damage on Abby, but down comes Mon's Force, able to help out. Yui's there to help as well. The beautiful offended, but Melee still gets the kill. Melee now moving on to the orange buff, and CFU lose another member.
And they got nothing out of it. Violet walks away. And now Melee, oh, Grand Theft Orange.
That's a beautiful Grand Theft.
Madam. She took a small camp on the way out. This is going to balloon out of control now. We're looking at more than 2,000 gold ahead. A push in mid. Tagami coming in, clearing the wave. That's it. They lost the main artery.
Yeah, that's a bad blow. Mid lane gone, and even when they were having that fight up top, we saw Chincha chipping away a little bit at the mid tower, and that just gave it enough for Team Falcons Vega to be able to completely secure it. Right now, even with the Fanny, Team Falcons Vega are just, look at even the pressure they're putting here. They're keeping CFU Serendipity inside of a box right now, and Team Falcon Vega are able to control the rest of the map while doing this.
And again, it's uncanny coming from a lineup that is facing off against Fanny they can hold down. So this is just macro control. Absolutely a masterclass from arguably the second best team in all of the MLBB women's esports. And here, now they're putting in a lot of work, forcing back Yui.
Yui taking a lot of damage. Mullane looking for the kill, trying to get the finish, able to secure it. Yui goes down, but in comes the last insanity. Moshi!
Bang!
Beautiful last insanity.
Foul. They're still going in.
More damage from Melee, double kill onto Yui. Fendi making a triple. Melee takes out Tagami. CFU Serendipity in pieces right now. Falcons Vega, they don't care about a Fanny.
She's been cooking, man. She's been cooking. 8 minutes in, she picks up the Thunderbelt. I'm liking where this is going. As per my taste, I would have picked it up maybe sooner, but again, aggression is the name of the game here. An amazing start. Moshi Bang tried to control that fight down bottom, but feeding up for Tal, and then allowing for the rest of Team Falcons Vega to win that fight in their back lane. Oh, this is just par for the course. You just go straight for the Lord, and you continue controlling the rest of the map. CFU Serendipity, I'm thinking maybe their next best move here is to cordon off these fights into smaller quarters. You notice how a lot of these fights that happen in the open spaces, Team Falcons Vega do better at? They gotta fight in smaller spaces. They gotta have the Gami go from wall to wall.
Yeah, they have to do something about Melee here. I mean, Melee's just, he shouldn't be, or she shouldn't be able to just jump into this, fight the way she is. She's even getting locked up from Yui in some of those fights and still has time to just do whatever she pleases in these fights. 7-1-1 on a Roger. It's what, almost 3,000 gold lead there?
She cooked. She cooked. It wasn't even second item. It was third item, Thunderbelt. First up, War Axe, and then the Piercer. I'm thinking she's at like 2 or 3 stacks right now sitting with that Piercer. And oh no, they popped the Viraga armor.
Moshi Bang taking a lot of damage. Lane was testing it there, but the Lord's still encroaching in right now. Looking for the crash, 1 more minion to go. The defense does pop on that inhibitor. Nice, I'm offended onto Thal. They're able to get the kill. That's a big deal for Abby, but in comes Melee with a nice Lycan pounce on Moshi Bang. More damage on a UA Fendi. Melee playing the field to Melee. It's looking dangerous right now for CFU. They lose an inhibitor.
Thal is worth her life more in weight than gold. It's amazing how she's able to trade in for a big objective in mid, and then another trade on the way out. CFU Serendipity, again, this is going to hurt them even more because one of the strengths that their lineup is able to do is to go across the map and just pick fights, cut waves, and now they have to do that on a level wherein they're on the defense. Even if they can leave the base, which I think now is one of the few times they can, 10 minutes in, it's still going to be tough. Is there enough farm on UEFendi is my question. Tegami, sure, she can run around, she can cut lanes, I mean, she can go deeper than this. But where's the farm on UEFendi? Is Abby dealing enough damage?
Yeah.
Count your blessings, she hasn't died.
That's, I mean, as a Nana, you probably shouldn't. She has everything packed into her to survive, but here they go. Speak of the devil, UEFendi trying to pull through. UA able to get a nice, I'm offended, on Thal once again, but look at the damage onto CFU. In comes the last Insanity, unloading onto Violet. Violet able to flicker back. Melee still holding the front line, taking fire to the face. Takes out Moshi Bang. Tagami, though, looking for the finish, decides to back off. That's bad. Double kill for Melee.
She got punished. They didn't need to hold her down. The damage that she had to go through just thinking about walking through, Team Falcons Vega punished her. This is tough. 11-4, 11 minutes in. Mr. Wagner. CFU Serendipity, they had a great draft, but fundamentally speaking, Falcons Vega knew how to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, CFU seemed to not be able to play it to its maximum capabilities. Abby taking some more damage, and at this point, as you said, we look at the way that Vega's moving around the map right now. It's always 2-2 and Melee kind of on her own, because Melee can handle herself against the Fanny. A Lycan Pounce to dodge a Cutthroat, or a Lycan Pounce to dodge a couple blades and get the damage out, and the rest are covering each other's backs.
The only real hero that Melee has to worry about is Ruby, right? Like that's the only thing that she has to think twice of. Abby, she can just dodge Molina's gift. Forget about it. Like, I can just run around. I can hop through these gifts. And now another fight, breaking out in mid.
The pack comes down, so the damage is unloading. Yue goes down first. Next might be UEFendi. Able to get the outplay, though, looking for the final shot. Finally gets the kill onto Melee. UEFendi pulling up in the Fendi. Doing some nice damage onto the Lord now, but it's still coming soon. Team Falcons Vega.
Abby made bank. Can they do this? Can they defend? Where is she? Where are they?
Tagami looking for the purple buff, sees that they're all hanging out there. Team Falcons Vega lose a Melee and they immediately back off.
All right, so that explains the big spike now. We're looking at 6K, 5K between these two teams. And we were wondering, is there enough farm on Abby? Besides the fact that she hasn't died, this is one of the times where you say, okay, maybe we can still do this. Good news is they still have one inhibitor. This could have gone so much worse. They could have lost everything, and they were forced to take whatever farm is left out of Team Falcons Vega freezing, which is what's happening now. But as it is, checking out, okay, a Trinity on Abby here. You have UEFendi, also a Trinity, just barely. I think maybe just one more item, and then a fight in like, you know, thicker part of the forest here, like a little corridor. That might be it, but you're still looking at 5K between. That's still tough.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very tough because now a lot of it. Oh, look at the damage though. Come down once again. Tincha able to take out the major damage dealer. UEFendi down, out of commission. Falcons Vega now looking for another inhibitor. Tagami can't even go in.
You don't let him breathe. I think that's the play here for Team Falcons Vega. Problem solving, CFU Serendipity. There's like 5 or 6 things that they need to do. It's a grocery list of things to hit on a checklist. One of them does not have an answer to Team Falcons Vega's one move. It's just force out fights. Here they are, taking out that last inhibitor, and waves are gonna crash in. This is well timed for Lord coming in a minute.
You know, I gotta say, Thal's been so amazing on this Carmilla. Even though she's taken a few deaths, she always lands that ultimate at the perfect time to at least catch 2 members, and the rest of the team follows up so well.
That and she can get out. If she dies, so be it. They're taking out at least one on the way out too. Not to mention, it's like Funi did not miss a beat. She's #1 in the damage charts right now. And the last time we saw her here in MWI, she also put up quite a show, honestly. When they were formerly known as GPX Basreng in MWI 2023, just change one. Just change Caramel to Mei Lane, which, by the way, we also missed. We were expecting Caramel to play, but Mei Lane is holding down jungle. She's doing more than that.
Mei Lane's doing amazing. I mean, Funi's doing amazing. even as someone that's kind of stepped back a little bit from the team a little bit, still showing that I still got it, man. I can still hang with the best of them. And she is stomping down. She's got her foot on the neck right now with these Sharks. Lord taking a lot of damage. CFU not going to be able to contest it.
And that's a clean take. Two Lords, Team Falcon, Vega's name. Third this time as they push back the rest of CFU Serendipity. Oh, what's Stahl thinking? Is she looking to steal this? They're just denying everything. Oh, there it is. Just serve it up.
Serve it up.
Take it, Chin Shot. It's yours.
Another one.
Another one.
Easy. Falcons Vega just in there now. They take it slow, right? I love the lane freeze right now, waiting for Lord to come. They don't need to rush anything. 7,000 gold, almost 7,000 gold lead. We're getting there. Something bad. CFU, how do they defend this?
It's going to come off of Abby. Abby is going to have to use all of her kit, like that little Nana, Pink Venus, put everything.
Catch like two.
Catch two in that ult, and then hit the best case scenario, you hit Violet or Mei lane with the gift. That's one way to start it. And now it all comes down.
Although tries to come and use the conceal play, a lot of damage on loads. On to Moshi Bang. Moshi Bang forced to back off, but in comes Violet with a huge penalty zone. On to 3. Yui down. Tagami, though, trying to get the outplay, but they're already locked onto the base, and Teams Falcons Vega. Masterclass take game number 1.
The advantage hit critical mass. And despite Falcons Vega rocking the lineup, none of us expected for them to deploy in day 1. They get the dub in quick fashion, too.
And I mean, like we said in the beginning, we felt like CFU had the clean draft, but Vega knew exactly how to work around it and executed it perfectly.
What is a scalpel to a 6-inch thick metal vault?
Not much.
Not much. We were hopeful. It looked like a great pick. Like, we were hoping it would unlock something out of CFU Serendipity in the face of a powerhouse like Falcons Vega, but here we are. We'll talk about it later on. For now, here's Eterna and Mirko breaking down game 1.
Thank you so much, Leo. Thank you so much, Trex, for that amazing cast for game number 1 as the Falcons soar high in that first game of their series.
Man, what a performance coming in from Falcons Vega. I gotta agree with the casters, man. We also have the same sentiment. You know, the drafts were amazing from CFU. They were able to get the Fanny pick as well. Just sneaking in that Fanny pick with no stoppers from the side of Falcons Vega. But it goes to show you that what we said as well on the early stages of Falcons Vega, when we're talking about the team, they have such a good way to win out these lanes, to win out these matchups individually, to a point where really the composition with no stoppers, everybody is a stopper when you can deal that much damage, right? Whenever the Fanny walks in, she almost instantly gets her HP deleted. And there were some points in the game where Falcons Vega, you know, the clear problem for Falcons Vega, the weakness point has got to be that discipline still. I think in the 10th minute, they actually had a solid chance to go for the end, but some of them overextended. Still, though, a very phenomenal performance for their first game here at MWI. 15-6, 15 minutes. And before I throw it back to you, Eterna, I just got to mention this, right? Terizla in itself is already a dirty pick. It's like no resource, man. I'm going to just go in. I can go 0-5, and I can still be useful. Take a look at that build. I mentioned this a couple of times off cam to Eterna. She went first item Queen's Wings, and that was like 4th minute. Queen's Wings. Straight into, get this, the steel leg plates. And then the Dreadnought armor. She was just going for components up against CFU, and she knew that the magic damage dealers were already super behind, so she only needed to care about Tagami on the Fanny. And when that happened, Dreadnought done, steel leg plates done, Queen's Wings done, yeah, no assassin, no damage dealer can get through that.
It was dirty, right?
Dirty.
Because even when we were talking about the Terizla, I was like expecting, okay, we'll definitely see something like the CC or the Export to try and counter the Terizla in the lane, but that's absolutely not what we saw in game number 1. And, you know, I gotta have a little bit of an applause, you know, for the 2 newcomers into the lineup, the 2 players that we're not used to seeing from, you know, Team Falcons Vega, or previously known as GPX Basreng, as Leo put it earlier on. But they get the highlight here, right? Funi as well as Meilane, they performed amazing. You can even see that she had the highest GPM for Meilane, and for Funi, highest amount of damage.
Definitely, man. I mean, Caramel definitely got to be careful, right? Because Mei Lane's performance has been phenomenal. If she continues to perform this way, maybe she's going to be a mainstay on the team for a long time, maybe even all the way for MWI, because that Roger performance was certainly amazing in tournament.
So, do you think she'll grab the PlayStation
Yes.
MVP?
Yes. I think so.
Okay, we'll see. Let's bring it out. The PlayStation Tournament's MVP for Falcons Vega. It's going to be Mei Lane. Whew. On point, 93% kill, 820 GPM. And even you mentioned earlier on that Sky Piercer and into the Thunderbelt was just, you know, the cherry on top of already a very dominating early game from this Roger.
Really is. It's I think this was the Innocent build, like in MSC. I think it was Innocent that actually utilized this build a whole lot with the War Axe first item, straight into the Sky Piercer, and then going to the Thunderbelt before the Windtalker. And I think that was the item build, the item path that was the choice for Mei Lane as well. War Axe in early game to get an even harder snowball into the Sky Piercer. We already know what that item does, you know? We don't need to talk about it anymore. It definitely needs to be nerfed. Maybe it needs to be a bit more pricey because 1,500 on a Roger that's snowballing all the way from the start. I love the priority, by the way, for Team Falcons Vega and the priority for Mei Lane, because in the first neutral objective, most people would be like, hey, what are you doing as a jungler? Why are you letting the turtle get taken away by Tagami? And I would say as a Roger, no, that's great. You want to go for the kills. You want to go for the snowball through getting gold by getting those kills, and it actually went to become worth it. They got 2 kills in turn for the turtle, and it enabled her to go for those items. The Thunderbelt also, such a good way of putting down utility when you already know that the rest of your team does a lot of damage. You're just there as a Roger to execute, and that was the style that Mei Lane actually displayed. All she was doing was really waiting in the back, trying to go for the range form, and then whenever anyone goes low, she acts as the assassin. She wasn't a fighter, she wasn't a marksman mainly, she was an assassin that game.
So it poses the question, right? Because across all the tournaments after, as well as the emblems coming through, the new emblems coming through, she actually opted for Quantum Charge, not Warcry. What do you think about that?
I think the Warcry definitely, you know, it adds a lot of value, but knowing that the playstyle there for her was not about standing there for a long time, not about joining the teamfight for a long time, but actually executing, Quantum Charge definitely allows you to go in, get out a little bit faster, knowing that the build she went for was a bit more of the boom, bang, you know, kind of
Bada
hit
bing.
and run, bada bing. You can add the bada bing too. It makes sense for the Quantum Charge more than the Warcry.
Shout out to Gani, by the way.
Shout out Gani.
And you know, shout out to you guys. How were your predictions in that first game? Were you guys right? Were you guys wrong? Or did you abstain? Because, you know, you have a little curse going on for yourselves, like our fellow friend here, Mirko, and his ongoing caster curse. You know, you guys can actually let us know of your next audience prediction in the STC predictions earlier on. The website was down there, so you guys can actually go to, you know, a quick refresh to take a look at that. But now, best of 2. We still have one more game between both of these teams. CFU had the better draft. Everyone kept mentioning it. What do they need to do now?
That's what's concerning now, especially after taking a big loss like that. It was pretty one-sided in game number 1. Now they're going to have, well, step number 1 has got to be reset. They really have to try to reset there while we're on a break right now for them, right? And then try to look for the normal CFU gameplay, because it almost felt like it was them forcing some of these big picks like the Harith in the gold lane, where you could definitely see that for Yui, she was very, very uncomfortable on the Harith. She wasn't able to fully bully Chinchao, and also Chinchao is an amazing laner. We were talking about how the side lanes have been amazing for the side of Falcons Vega, so the fact that Chinchao on the Claude was the one initiating, was the one going for poke, was the one trading, it was definitely not a good look for the Harith. The Harith was the one bullied in lane, and that's not supposed to happen.
But that's the problem, right? Because according to data and according to statistics, this Harith is actually a power pick for her.
Yeah.
So is it that she's not comfortable, or is Chinchao just an amazing laner, like you mentioned?
That's the next point I was about to bring up. I think, you know, we've been talking about the pressure on stage. It's a very, very big problem, usually for a lot of the players, especially making their debut here on the international stage. And some of you might say, you know, they've been here in the international stage where offline is a bit different, right? It's way different. And the fact that you have a power pick, it doesn't always mean that you are going to be able to make it happen, make it work. Because especially for the Harith, it's a very high mechanical hero.
Yep.
You cannot get nervous, you cannot get those jitters, or you can't let those jitters get a hold of you. And it's time for her now to either double down on the Harith pick, knowing that it is her comfort pick, knowing that now, you know what? I'm just going to have to let it go. I'm just going to have to play with no pressure, or go for a completely different pick, a safer pick like weak side, and play for Tagami.
that's actually one of the things that I really wanted to mention. You know, despite them having to suffer that first loss in game number 1, a big props to Tagami.
Exactly.
You know, her reputation really preceded herself, right? I mean, a lot of people were saying that she was one of the best assassins in the current meta and so on and so forth. And we actually saw that, right? The Fanny, she was trying her best. At some point, she did go for a turtle steal under the nose of course, Falcons Vega. So definitely a big props to her, and hopefully she can stay consistent or even grow in this tournament, in the second game especially.
Yeah, I think doubling down on Tagami will be a great choice to go for, by the way, for the side of CFU, because, hey, she already performed so well in game number 1, and that was the game that they were actually losing all the way from the start. I think the way to enable her has got to be pick up the Terizla, or at least try to take that Terizla away, because having the Terizla in the XP lane, where even if you get a lane counter like the Xborg, like you mentioned earlier, Terizla is a non-lane. So if you pick it up, you have a lot more priority to play and enable your assassin jungler. We've been through this a whole lot as well in MSC. This is why Terizla has been so popular and so amazing. So yeah, either you ban it out or you pick it up. I think now that they are going to be on blue side, they have a chance to actually pick it up for themselves, and they can actually force out a lot of the other bans, like the Lo Yi, like the Chip, towards Falcons Vega. That was something that Falcons Vega was able to absolutely capitalize on in the drafts. They banned out respect heroes all the way, the Edith, the Ling, and then they left all those picks open.
I do believe it was it the Hayabusa last ban for Falcons Vega?
Yeah.
So full respect.
Full respect.
But you know what? I'm not worried about CFU.
Why?
Because they have the support
Ooh, of what?
of the pandas on their jersey.
That's
Have
true.
you seen them?
That's true.
Man, guys,
The CFU pandas.
once they get on camera, we need to appreciate those pandas, man.
I want to appreciate those pandas too.
They're so cute.
Yeah, during the game,
pandas
sometimes,
work.
you know, the face cams goes to the panda shots, and we're just like, oh my god!
Was it not highlighting the players? Like the hand cam? Was it the panda? See,
it is a hand cam, but I look at the panda.
Yeah.
Would you perform better if you had a panda, Eterna?
I'd love a koala.
Cool.
I was born in Australia.
All right, mate.
What about you?
I would take
A Lafelle?
I would take a Lafelle and a nice suit.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Anyway. I keep getting distracted. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know, it's okay though, but that was good, because honestly, for Falcons Vega and for the side of CFU, that's what they need. They need additional ways to actually take the game, and even for Falcons Vega, because even though that was dominant all the way from the start, we did see weakness points. We did see that in a couple of ways, CFU were almost able to come back when they were actually kiting back. So they could go for that. They could go for the exact same way, where they actually try to play for the kite back, wait for these initiations, wait for the overextensions that Falcons Vega technically have a tendency to do, and then punish them.
Sorry, I'm waiting for the pandas.
Me too. To be fair, I am too.
It should be the next shot, right? We saw Falcons Vega earlier on camera, and we should be getting pandas after this. But while there we go. Oh no, it's covered.
Oh no!
No, show us
No
the
panda.
pandas.
They know that you don't get the panda. They need to win first, then you get the panda.
And it would be actually really great for them, right?
Oh,
Because-
panda!
There you go, panda. Hi, panda. Oh, so cute.
You know, at this point, I
There
think
are
you're
5
gonna
of
be.
them.
There are maybe even more for the coaches.
You're right. You're right. And you know, the coaches need it, right? They need to get their head in the game. I mean, technically, they did win that draft in the first game, so. Oh, see?
Are you saying the
Close
pandas
up.
are?
See, the cameraman gets me.
Yeah, they're happy with the pandas. They're happy with the pandas too. But you know, you said the pandas, they definitely need that, and they did win the draft. Are you telling me that
I said the
pandas-
coaches.
Yeah. Do you mean that the pandas actually help the coaches draft?
It's support,
whisper?
right? If anything, it's support. Why are we talking about pandas?
Hey, turn it. You started this,
I'm
man.
I'm sorry. Let's get back into the game, right? Because in this group, for CFU and Falcons Vega, the third team in their group is Cloud9. So,
Yeah.
if Falcons Vega can win 2-0 here, they definitely... It's almost a shoo-in for them to make it to the playoffs. But for CFU Serendipity, they go 1-1. How do you think this is going to go?
Like we said, you know, the group of death, it's definitely going to be very interesting if it is going to be 1-1, because then technically it leaves every team in the same spot. They're all 0-0. They have no points on for the leaderboards, and they're going to have to get a 2-0 win against one of them. And hey, there's a possibility that we get a tiebreaker too, so I'm not counting that out, not just yet.
Not just yet, as ladies and gentlemen, let's prepare you and let's welcome you into the drafting phase for the final game in this best of 2 series between Falcons Vega and CFU Serendipity. But it looks like there aren't any swaps. Falcons Vega still have that first pick with the Edith. It looks like this might actually be a similar drafting phase that we saw in game number 1.
I think it'll be exactly the same for the side of Falcons Vega, right, on blue side. And unfortunately, because CFU are on red, they're kind of already forced to make the same bans. It's Chip, it's Loyi. Maybe they'll change the last ban, right? Maybe leave Juicin open, but I don't know. Now I'm actually kind of scared of the Juicin pick, right? Because why did they ban it out? They know something we don't. Has Falcons Vega been able to perform in scrims with the Juicin, or is it just respect?
That's a big question, right?
Priority.
Or what do they do? They can't leave the Luoyi open either, right? It's too prio at this point. Despite the changes towards the Luoyi and her ultimate, it seems like the Luoyi still does have that impact, especially when pioneered or when steered in with the right person. But Vexana ban, so this is already a very big difference to game number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Last time around it was the Hayabusa, but now it has been changed into the Vexana. The big question is now for CFU, do they want to still leave the Roger open for first pick, or are they still going to go with Susin?
I mean, the Hayabusa is up for grabs. Technically, they can go for that, but yeah, that's a big question now for CFU. If they want to leave the Juicin open up against Falcons Vega, I think the other picks to ban, if they really want to go and, enable Tagami, maybe would be... I mean, we've seen this before as well. I think it was Liquid Echo versus Falcons AB Bren back in MSC, where Terizla became super prio towards a later stage. But again, the Roger was something that we were mentioning for first pick together with Ling all the way from the pregame, and it will be banned out here. Roger banned out. Hayabusa and Juicin left open for the draft. Blue side has a chance to pick it up, but is it that prio? Now that's the big question. That's a new question that arises once you answer with the Roger. And it turns out, nope, not as prio as that dirty Terizla DT.
Terizla gonna be first in picked for Falcons Vega. And I honestly wanted that question answered, right? I want to know how Zuxin fares in an international and a professional level. Does it work? Does it not work? Is it too squishy? Is her damage enough to penetrate through? But let's see, maybe it still does have the possibility to be popped up later on in this phase. But with the Terizla first in, do you think CFU are going to go for the exact same thing? Ruby and Harith was their choice earlier on, but with the Hayabusa left open, it's actually going to be a Hayabusa and a Ruby. Man, Tagami on the Hayabusa, now that's something that I'd pay to watch.
Well, lucky for you, you get paid to watch. Because, the Hayabusa gets picked up here. It's a massive pick for Tagami. We saw just how lethal she was even on the Fanny. But now, the fact that they picked it up so early, right, it leaves it a bit more vulnerable compared to the Fanny pick that we saw last picked by CFU. Now Falcons Vega, they'll be aware of this Hayabusa pick, and they will go for a bit more of those stoppers. Also going for the Harith, now that the Roger has been banned out, they want to go for that lane prio, and this is also where Chinchao finds her comfort. The fact that she was already winning lane on a Claude against the Harith, now I guess we get to see what she can do on the Harith, a snowball pick, a pick that is known to bully other laners, and a Valentina too, to go for that flexibility IMU. The creativity of the players that play Valentina, usually they're a bit crazy, especially here with an I'm Offended, and technically, I don't know if you want to take the shadow kill.
It's a good escape tool.
It's a good escape tool. That could be something they want to go for as well, but this could be also why the Valentina is super prio, is because it forces the enemy team to not go for any more big ultimates, right? Or go for too many big ultimates to try to overwhelm the Valentina. But in both those cases, it's kind of tough. If you don't give the big ultimates over, that means you're kind of limited yourself as to these big team fight moments. But if you do try to overwhelm the Valentina, if the Valentina's smart enough, she'll be able to choose the right ultimate for every single team fight. But they go for the Claude, so we get this exact same matchup, just on different hands, and this is where we get to see whether maybe now it's just Claude's just better in lane, or maybe Chinchao was just a laning beast.
Oh, how the turntables, as Arashi likes to put it.
Michael Scott.
But you're right? Finally, we get to see this similar gold lane matchup, but on reverse, and we finally get to see the prowess of both these gold laners in their lane. Because like you mentioned, right, with a Harris and a Claude in one lane in the gold lane, it should be a shoe-in for the Harris. And not to mention now, Falcons Vega are holding really good side lanes, right? With the Terizla in the EXP lane, it's going to be a wonder how CFU are going to hold on to the prio, especially in the early stage of the game, right? If they don't have the prio in the gold lane, they don't have the prio in the XP lane, is there bank on the mid lane? But even then, Falcons Vega, they're quick to adapt, right? They're quick to react to this. The Lilia gets taken out. So what are the choices left to win in that mid trio?
You mentioned Inanna. It didn't really work out for them in game number 1, mainly because, well, their clear was okay too, but it's just really tough in game number 1 to go up against a Vexana plus a Carmilla when it comes to clear. Now they ban out the Minotaur, and the Tigreal is still up for grabs. That's a big pick, by the way, for Falcons Vega. They ban out the Yuzong. They might go for the Tigreal. If it's not picked up by CFU here, the Hayabusa is going to be in a lot of trouble. The Tigreal is one of the best picks, or I would say maybe the best pick when it comes to going up against Assassins, because once you go in, you get caught by that implosion, goodbye. Everybody's going to be able to follow up, and the Baksha ban is definitely interesting. I would have definitely thought, especially considering they have already picked up the Hayabusa early, that they want to go for the same exact bans as they did in game number 1 with the Minotaur and the Tigreal, but now they ban out the Baksha. At Falcons Vega, it really seems like they're already setting up for an Assassin pick, so the Baksha ban again, is definitely something I'm going to be questioning, just like in game number 1. And they go for the Juicin debut!
Zuxin finally makes her appearance, ladies and gentlemen, in the Land of Dawn on the competitive scene. And what better way for Zuxin to come out than in the hands of CFU Serendipity. But Tigreal doesn't even show up here. It's going to be the Nolan and the Kufra. That was one of my main questions. You mentioned the Tigreal being one of the best stoppers, but if we're talking about best stoppers against Assassins, I mean, back in the day, it was either Ruby or Kufra. And now Kufra's back.
And technically for the Kufra, you get double the value here. You're up against the Hayabusa, you can cancel some of those dashes with the Quad Shadow, and you can also stop Ruby from dashing back and forth with her kit. Now it also kind of forces CFU to go for... What do they want to go for? It's great, by the way, for Falcons Vega, this Kufra pick. Nolan pick, we expected, you know, an Assassin. That was already a great setup for them. They go for the Aura. Vengeance, yes, can go through the bouncing ball. Anti-CC. This time, though, I'm going to have to say Falcons Vega, it seems like they have got a great draft to take it all the way 2-0.
Good prio in every single lane. It's definitely a tough battle now for CFU, for our Cambodian representatives, ladies and gentlemen. If they want to have a fighting chance, if they want to put Cloud9, and if they want to eliminate Cloud9 right now, as well as Falcons Vega, they need to be able to at least take this to 1-1. But Mirko, are you ready for the deciding match?
Absolutely.
I'm ready for the deciding game, and I'm pretty sure the audience here in the Amazon Arena are also ready. So let's take a look into the casters. Leo, Trex, you there?
We're here and we're ready to go. The Kamai bring out the Jushin, and in her debut game, can she make it happen? Can she get the upset victory for CFU Serendipity over Team Falcons Vega?
Essentially, debut game in any international event, right? I don't think we've seen her anywhere else, really. And CFU is not disappointed with a variety of picks. We saw that they lacked a little bit of fundamentals in the last game. Is this maybe comfort for them?
All right, to their defense, it's less about them lacking and more of just Team Falcons Vega having the solution. Team Falcons Vega coming from a very developed region such as Indonesia, going up against CFU Serendipity, who, by the way, have some veterans. It's just tough to cut it close, you know what I mean? Looking at the laning this time around, Yui, and we have here Abby roaming around. I'm still excited to see what this Jushin brings to the table. Going up against the mid lane matchup here. Check it out now. Thal and Uni. Oh, wow, look at this. You can't beat the reliable damage of Valentina.
You definitely can't. Whoa. But a nice grab onto Thal, brings Thal back. But we're already seeing the possibilities with the Jushin. Going to be interesting how this works out in a lot of these team fights. It's something we haven't gotten to see yet. Moshi Bang maybe looking for something here.
All right. Oh, no, Yui! Force the flicker. She's put down to 1/10 of her health. She's going to be sent home. That's a TKO. Tagami thinking about an invade here. I like how Melee just picked the Nolan dead cold right there in that last slot. Up top, Yui Fendi, 2v1.
Major. I mean, both teams kind of playing the back and forth right now. But CFU, I think, know what's at stake here, and they're not forcing anything at all. They're definitely taking a little bit slower. We're going to wait for this first turtle. And we might not see a lot until second turtle, but Falcons Vega doesn't want to let that happen. Look at the damage already. Drag back, though, under the tower. Mooney tries to come in, get some nice damage on Moshi Bang. Violet brings out the penalty zone, takes a little bit of damage back to herself, and nobody goes down.
All right. I like how CFU Serendipity are playing super disciplined, and they're really holding their ground. The Tagami could have pressed. Oh, no, there's a jump by Thal!
Nice knock up, but Yui able to respond back quickly.
Ooh.
Yui needs this level 4 before this turtle and finally gets it. Both teams a little bit low on health. Got to go back to these buffs.
All right, I'm going to say it now, 2.5 minutes in. There's going to be a point in time where Team Falcons Vega aren't going to rely too heavily on their ults. Like, they can start picking fights. They can just start playing footsies and checking range until CFU Serendipity is forced to push the button, whether that be on a final slash, on a quad shadow kill. And now here we go.
Tagami looking for the angle in. Gets in and takes the turtle. A nice take for Tagami. And now they're looking for the turnaround, look for the possible grab onto somebody. Funi runs, Thal runs. They know they don't want to force this fight. They lost what they came for.
As long as Tagami's around and she has the retribution, nothing is truly safe. Until you know she's under some CC, until you know that she's out and away, you can never count out a potential for a steal down bottom, 1v1.
Moshi Bang might not be able to get away from this. Hits the final slash, trying to vengeance through. Trying to get away, but falls right into it. First blood over to Violet.
And up top, there's a jump by Thal.
Gets the Tyrant's Revenge. Nice lock on. The damage locks in. Funi able to take out Abby to Blazing Duet to try to seal the deal, to try to turn things around. Tagami able to find Melee. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Team Falcons Vega not giving up just yet. Yue takes a little bit of damage, and Chinsha might go to top. This is bad. Thal. Tagami has a shield, though. Should be okay.
Yep. Check in with the quad shadow. Let's check out the STC replay. Moshi Bang, I think she was buying time. They knew that this bigger fight was going to break out up top. And yeah, Abby goes down, but there is a trade found eventually by Tagami. Jungler for a mid laner. I'd say to some extent that was worth it, especially if they could convert. Now in mid, Funi put down to half health. All right, they'll let that go.
I'm still wondering how this Jushin is going to completely play out. Abby's taking a death now. I think it's huge that they got the kill onto Melee, though. We saw how well Melee did last time, especially a farmed Melee, a good fed Melee. And right now, putting this death on a Melee, I think is definitely a win for CFU this early on.
Yeah, slow her down. She does so much when she's ahead. So if CFU Serendipity can find a way to get into a, I don't know, place where they can put some offense on the board, they can definitely maybe even see a 1-1. Now Violet hit with a final slash.
Nice final slash. Penalty zone in response. In comes Thal. Trying to get the Town's Revenge. Unable to walk on to anybody. Yue with a beautiful I'm offended onto 3 members. And in comes Tagami. Able to get the kill onto Violet. Looking for another one. Thal in a bad spot. Going to get pulled back from the Zushin, but doesn't need to because Yue gets the kill first. But Melee up against Yui Fendi. Yui Fendi trying to get away and able to.
All right, very rarely does a Claude walk away from Nolan, right, with lethal intent. So she played that mid 1v1 very well. They are going to trade for a turret up top. That's a turtle scored by CFU Serendipity. 2 so far in this 5-minute game.
You got to point it out for Team Falcons Vega, though. Still holding a gold lead. After being a little behind on kills, after being down 2 turtles, still just overall controlling the map. With Thal gets a knock up on a Moshi Bang. Tagami playing the quad shadow, looking for the target. Funi is forced to flicker there. Backs off, uses the IMU just to get away. CFU unable to get a kill there, but we see the aggression from both teams.
All right, Funi stealing away the ult from Abby's Jushin actually made a difference there. There was a lot of passive ticks that helped not just underneath the turret, but from CFU Serendipity pushing forward. Say what you will about this 500, 600 gold lead that the Kamai are behind on, but they're still very aggressive. Thal now finds one.
Oh, continues to be aggressive, just hanging out in these bushes, looking for him nonstop. Able to connect, and if one of those connects onto more than just one person, it's going to be trouble for CFU.
And it's likely, it's easy for Team Falcons Vega to set up, because again, a lot of what Thal wants to do are not her ults. Like, her ult is barely what counts. The jump and the ball is what really gives CFU Serendipity here a massive headache. Approaching the final turtle of the game here, about 45 seconds in. Chinshaw scores her Feather of Heaven there. And best believe, we haven't even seen this Harith be part of fights yet. So there is going to be a power spike coming in from Vega.
And Funi just took that I'm offended, so watch for the big I'm offended play from Funi here. Funi's been a star from game 1 to now, showing up for Team Vega. CFU, though, we see the possibilities they've had here. We see Tagami actually able to pop off on this hero. Thal misses the jump. CFU will be able to get away from this, and a beautiful I'm offended onto Thal. Thal brought down to about 20% health. Here comes a concealed prey from Tagami and Yue. But Team Falcons know it's coming. They back off down to the turtle pit.
A lot of resources spent in there by both roamers. Moshi Bang being an XP laner allows for her to kind of play with the range. Now Thal jumps in.
Another big damage onto Yue. Chincha able to get the kill, but more damage responding onto Thal. Chincha with his Mon's Force able to bounce it back and forth, causing destruction as she moves forth. Thal, Funi down, Yue down as well, but there goes Abby. It's 2 for 2 now. Team Vega evens the playing field, but watch for Moshi Bang so low right now. Gonna try to vengeance through, but does not get away. Violet gets the kill. Yui Fendi, though, trying to pick up some pieces up in the top side, able to take an inhibitor, but Vega doesn't care because, once again, they get the main artery.
STC replay coming in, even in these macro and micro moments, right? The team fight, the map. You see that both teams are trying to one-up each other, but so far, it seems like Falcons Vega are the ones who don't let through much. You give them an inch, they take, maybe not a mile, but they take a yard. And that's a lot when you're looking at a game that's this tight. 5-6 right now, last turtle up for grabs. Oh, this is a turtle that's long overdue. Best believe as soon as this resets, it's gonna turn into a Lord. And, all right, Falcons Vega let it go.
They might be okay with it. Falcons Vega, they have a little bit of gold lead. They're not too worried about this. There it goes, gonna turn into a Lord. And while this is happening, Melee knows. Melee's not worried about it. I'm gonna get this purple buff, I'm gonna farm some more, live my best life.
Yep, which, by the way, Yui Fendi actually dealt more damage than expected. Thal caught out.
More damage on a Thal. Yue tries to lock him up. A nice final slash. Thal unable to do anything. Abby actually gets a kill this time, and here comes a blazing duet. Tagami finds Chinshaw. Violet now on the run. CFU turning the tables, flipping him over, taking him out. It's a disaster for Team Falcons Vega. A 3-0. Can CFU convert this to a Lord, though?
Didn't expect to see that come in that quick. Now Funi playing here in the River Brush. Lets it go. Suddenly a turn of events here that none of us expected. CFU Serendipity folded up Team Falcons Vega, put them in a box and sent them home. You see how far away Mei Lane was? Like, she can't fight against 3 or 4 members of CFU Serendipity, not like that.
Definitely. Watch for Thal. I mean, Thal's just... And it's maybe at a point now where Thal has to be a little more careful about those jump-ins, a little bit more careful about those face checks on these bushes. If Yue is able to get the catch first, it becomes a problem.
Au contraire, I think it's right for her to just keep throwing herself at the opponent.
Okay.
Because she can afford it. She's a roamer.
Fair.
But
the rest of the team has to be careful.
That, and maybe now you have to consider Team Falcons Vega, they got to be asking themselves, who's the beatdown? Are we in a position of aggression, or should we defend first and then find a way to rope a dope? Right now, I think it's the latter. They're defending up top. There's a mid lane push. CFU Serendipity might get final slash.
Big final slash at that. Zamon's Force does drop. Nice damage from Yui Fendi. Tagami tries to come in, gets bashed against the wall. Can they capitalize? Tagami with the quad shadow gets the unstoppable kill. And that's the thing. Even when they stop Tagami for a second, you just click that ultimate, click that shadow kill, and the damage secured.
Not just. Tagami had a safety net. She had a couple more shadows here to jump by Thal. She knows she can't do this. That's a tier 2 taken down. Yui Fendi gets another push. And that's it. Wow. CFU Serendipity. The Kamai are in control. And at the forefront is Tagami, 5-0-3. The Kamai Kunoichi. Dude, that's why Falcons Vega banned out the Hayabusa in game 1. They knew she was up to something.
They knew, and I was actually very surprised that they switched it up in the draft, because they won game 1 with that ban phase, and they drop it and ban out the Vexana.
They let it through.
Yeah, they let it through, ban out the Vexana instead, and now it's fighting. It's taking them down.
It's giving comeback.
It's giving comeback.
All right, so let's talk about Team Falcons Vega's chances for a way to claw back into this. Again, that does sound like we are over-exaggerating the lead that CFU Serendipity has, but honestly, they're playing from a position of I'd say they're down, right? Especially after what happened in game one. But now, looking at 2,000 ahead, CFU Serendipity have snowballed out of control. I think Team Falcons Vega should have had the easier snowball in the mid-game.
So now at what point? I mean, luckily CFU hasn't escaped too far away, right? Team Falcons Vega only about 1,000 behind, 1,500 behind. But CFU has hit a nice spike with Tagami 5-0 and 3. They got the snowball this time. What's the big play for them on this next Lord?
Falcons Vega have to get to that point wherein Fal can throw out these jumps without dying. By buying the immortality just about 2 seconds ago, that should help. That, and I haven't really seen Violet hit an amazing penalty zone. Maybe she doesn't have to hit a penalty zone. Maybe she just has to hit 1 or 2. But easier said than done when you're looking at not just an I'm offended, but also a final flash. Moshi Bang has been, you know, doing a lot of work. Like when you see that animation, oh, that's kimochi. That's oishi for the Japanese. You know what I mean, it's a delicious initiation.
That's the mochi. The mochi.
That's Japanese cuisine.
Mochi,
They're
mochi.
kamai.
Hey, man. They're the kunoichis.
No, that's Tagami. Here's a jump by Tal.
Oh, nice pick on to Abby here. The penalty zone misses too. Mochi Bang able to get the final slash, the dash through, and in comes Yui Fendi with the blazing weapon. Too much damage onto Yui. Maylane picks it up, finds it. That's 1 down for CFU. Tagami playing the bush, looking for a possible play here. In comes Abby as well. 4 members pushing back Falcon Vega.
Oh, wow. Falcons Vega hit him where it hurts. CFU Serendipity, they were still playing the map. They were looking for a play. Team Falcons Vega set it up maybe 5-10 seconds too early. They did not expect. Yui gets a jump in.
Yui going to be in trouble here. The lock on the damage. Luan's force, and that's enough to get Chincha the kill.
Abby!
Next going to move on to Abby. Abby's got to get back, able to get the stun on to Chincha. Mochi Bang there as well, but Chincha able to find Abby. Now Tagami just hiding in the bush. They're going to have to give this Lord up most likely.
They slipped up. This is the equivalent of a banana peel. Honestly, they could have done better to check those bushes, stuck together, knew that there were more members of Falcons Vega on the map, but now they had to concede a massive objective. This is a scaled up Lord. And it all started with that pickoff on Yui Fendi, and then another one on Yui, another one eventually on Abby. It's all crashing down. What is it, 14 minutes? This is the Lord that jumps.
This is the Lord that jumps. Very true. Couldn't have said it better myself. Looking at some of these items, there's one thing that Maylane has done great, and that has always kept up with Tagami. Right now, holding the lead.
I mean, the shutdown gold has to matter, right? Who did they shut? There's not even a shutdown gold. They just farmed out of their minds after the
farming
pickoff.
their minds off.
Now she's up by 700, 1,800 gold. That's huge. And all right, luckily Tagami doesn't have her Sky Piercer stats reset, right? So they can find a way to get in again, clean house. But first off, they got to defend.
All right, final slash does come in from Moshi Bang there, but the Lord is coming down to about 70%. Gets the dash onto the wall, gets the smash. Looking for something here. Falcons Vega playing the distance, keeping it slow, keeping it steady. Minions able to come through, but unable to get an inhibitor, and they back off. Another wave coming. Are they going to try to force this? CFU look for the play themselves. Tagami playing the quad shadow. Once again, dashes to the back into the base. Penalty zone, lands into the wall. And a nice final slash into the response. We'll see if you try to capitalize. Mochi Bang goes down first. Out comes the blazing duet. Tagami forced back, looking for the quad shadow, unable to lock out the damage, and Thal with a big revenge against the wall. Tagami now on the run. The Shinigamis are here. Team Falcons Vega looking to wipe them out, but Tagami wants to defend, but they're already on the base. CFU, I don't know if Tagami can do it all by herself. Too low, too late, not enough time. Team Falcons Vega with the 2-0.
They lost some altitude in the mid to the late game transition, but they